It's Tuesday morning. I'm in Suffolk. Well, no, probably a little bit nearer to the coast than actual Suffolk. I think it's Farmstead Lodges. All the lodges that we've been staying in. And in a bit we're going to go around walking around the farmland and the woodland and talking to people about cultivating cereals, predominantly oats. Yeah, so a bit different last night. We had an oat-based meal with some pictures. Now, some people live for food, and some people need food to live. I need food to live. Charlotte lives for food. But yeah, it was very, very nice. Never had a cauliflower steak before, but yeah, there we go. So, I've got a bucket of oats in the car. We're going to get that out. And then we've got this walk and flapjacks and stuff like that. Then, really, I was trying to shoot to London and meet some MPs. So we'll try and do a bit of everything today and get back here. Ready to do the same tonight and then again tomorrow. So I've got my little quiz. Got some sample bags. There's my wild card with some black oats, OSR, barley, wheat, and then a bucket full of oats. So we're all going to have a little bit of an education on which cereals are which, what they look like when they're growing, etc., and what they're used for. Proper smart place. This is just the lodges in the field. Main buildings around there. I'll show you a video of them in a minute. Right, we're going to head down through the meadow to the barns, which is where the wedding venue is, but spotted this last night. So we're going to have a quick look what it is. $6,320 with a Bertie flail. So they've got edge cutter for it as well. Tidy example. There's a lot of hedges around it, so I can imagine it's probably has a bit of a busy job. There's a lot been planted as well. You see, only a few years old. Yeah, I've got my bucket of oats. Gonna go and meet people from Alpro, and then we're gonna go on this woodland walk. This is the venue. There's a little bridge over the river. It's absolutely stunning this morning. Same last night. They obviously do weddings, and I think that's like terrace seating on the lawns. Setting up over there for brunch. Lads were just telling me that they've had to irrigate this grass because it was brown the other week. So yeah, this is the courtyard. So last night we all sat outside here by the fire, and then we had our meal in here. Now I don't know whether it's open. I'll go and see if it's open because I want to nick a bit of oats out of the flower arrangement. No, it's shut, but I'll show you in there later. This is the bar area. Oh, that's locked as well. But you get the gist. See the branded blankets. I'm guessing if it's raining, you can also have your wedding in here as well. This is the bar area now with the olive tree, and then there's the bar, and then we're going to head through past the big grand piano into the main room where we had dinner last night, or tea as I'd call it because I'm northern. And there's all the twinkly lights in the roof. Epic wallpaper. It's a bit early for oats to be so mature, so I've stolen some out of the flower arrangement. Just on a walk now through the woodland, so everyone's just regrouping in the shade.
Gather around here and we'll
Randy, I have an amazing role working as head of nutrition and science communication in Danone. Really pleased to be here today and here with lovely Nick. He's from Nick's Diets, and we're going to do a quick talk on the benefits of plant-based nutrition. I'm going to ask Nick some questions. Nick's going to come with some great answers, but if you have anything you want to raise, we only have 20 minutes, but if you have something that you want to ask, feel free to sort of interject and ask a question if you wish to do so.
There isn't a single definition that encompasses what a plant-based diet is. When I say a plant-based diet, I mean a plant-focused diet. So that means making vegetables and fruits the stars of the show, and then accessorizing with your meats, your fishes, your healthy fats, if you eat them.
So this is Neve, spelt in a strange way because she's Irish. How'd you spell it?
Niamh. A monkey get it.
Yeah, I don't get it. So she's going to do the quiz. So she works as Damo, and we're going to start with the wild card.
Linseeds.
Nope.
No. Not sunflower seeds. Have no idea.
Black oats. That was the dearest one. The hardest one. Dead easy.
It's not really that easy. Is that corn or something?
Well, it is a corn, but
Corn.
what style?
Help me. Lip read.
Wheat.
Wheat. Oh yeah. I knew that.
This is confusing because it's the same colour as another thing.
It does look like oat. Is it not oat? That one?
No, that's barley.
Barley. Okay.
For beer. Whiskey.
Okay. Maybe if it smells it. What does it smell?
Probably smells like plastic.
It smells plastic. Yeah.
Dead easy.
Okay, that is oat.
Yeah.
Oat. The winning.
And what can you make oats with? And what are you doing in the UK now?
We are making British Alpro oat drink with these beautiful oats, locally sourced.
All grown within 80 miles of the processor factory in Kettering, is it?
Kettering, yeah. Rich in fibre and also rich in key nutrients that we've added in, which is calcium, iodine and B vitamins, which are necessary.
There we go. And then, dead easy.
Chia seeds, is it? Or no, it's not. It's smaller. What is it? Give me that look. I don't know.
Oilseed.
Oilseed.
Yeah, oilseed rape. Terrible name, but yeah. So we call it OSR for short.
I just never imagined it to look like that.
So that's cooking oil or diesel. So when you squash them up, 50% of it, well, nearly 50% will be oil.
Okay, wow.
So there you go. So that's your lesson. So I'll quiz you again tomorrow. So tune in for part 2 tomorrow. Next stop, London. Sounds like the Grand National in London. Just got off the train at Embankment. Literally walked into Ed Miliband. He was getting on at the same time. I felt like getting back on and talking to him about net zero. And they're just off to the Farmers Club now to meet a few MPs in the red camp. So we'll see what they've got to say. Just been in PCH. Martin's out of breath because he's had to run. There's Clive. We're just going to do the 5 to 5. Just going 5 to 5 news now on GB about the trade stuff. Be interesting. I might do a little behind the scenes video. Is Martin in there? Can you see him? There he is. Yes, so the US Trade Minister has been over to London today, talked to Chris Hope from GB, who's the political correspondent, saying they can't understand what the government's doing to their agriculture when they're in the US are protecting agriculture. So I think we're just going to have a little chat about that now. Then I've got to get back to Ipswich, ready for doing more, another talk tomorrow and a walk around with Alpra. I keep getting it wrong. Yeah, going to go off and do that again.
Let's now get back to domestic politics, because in an exclusive sit-down interview with GB News' Chris Hope, Donald Trump's Secretary of State for Agriculture has questioned Sir Keir Starmer's inheritance tax raid on British farmers. Firebrand Brooke Rollins called them a problem that could close farms. And let's take a listen.
Our administration is hyper-focused on putting our farmers first, getting American agriculture to the world. So not fully understanding the dynamics here in the UK,
yes.
but my
We have a similar debate here, don't worry about it.
I would think that's right, but putting your farmers first and ensuring that the backbone of your country, whether it's America or UK or the EU or Canada or Mexico, you can't have true national security without food security.
Well, they're hiking taxes on these family farms. That's a big issue here.
That's right, and that's a problem. I mean,
are you worried about that?
100%. I think that anywhere in the world where you're increasing the cost of your input, obviously increasing the cost of taxes, increasing the cost of the land.
On farmers.
That's right. You're going to start closing your farms. And at that point, you begin to, outsource to, of course, America. We'd love to outsource.
Yes.
We're such great partners. But there are other partners in the world that maybe aren't the greatest partners for other reasons that we've got to be hyper-focused on.
It's an incredible interview with Brooke Rollins, with Chris Hope. You can watch that full interview at 7 p.m. on GBN Tonight with myself. I'm joined in the studio now by two farmers. I've got to say they are beaming like Cheshire cats. Olly Harrison and Clive Bailey. Of course, regular viewers of GB News will know these gentlemen as being part of the, what's now, I guess, become a slightly political movement, or at least a cohesive movement of British farmers. And gentlemen, thanks for joining me in the studio. I know you're in London because you're always having meetings. You're always working behind the scenes, as well as working and toiling on the farm. You're toiling for farmers, always in the background. Olly Harrison, could I get your initial reaction to the fact there that the US Secretary of State for Agriculture sounds like one of you boys?
It sounds like we wrote a speech, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I just hope that now it's come from someone else, it won't fall on deaf ears. We've been banging this drum and we've been saying that we need national food security, we need a domestic food policy that works, we need something to protect us from the ups and downs of the extremes of weather, just like the drought we're having at the moment. We need a reason to invest in the farms, which has now been taken away from us with the IHT. And the Americans get it. They're looking after their farmers. With the whole ethanol deal done last week, it is another blow to us, kneecapped again. A market loss to us. Wheat produces ethanol. Ethanol is used in fuels, and that market was taken away from us in a deal. Yet the Americans are standing up for us, going, you need to look looking after your own farmers, which is what we've been saying all along.
Clive Bailey, in fact, when that trade deal was struck last week, you and I were on the show together. I got your immediate reaction. You were very concerned about things like cheap American beef flooding the market, perhaps hormone enhanced, perhaps chlorinated chicken, although if you watch the full interview later on tonight, you might have your mind put at rest. I don't want to spoil Chris Hope's exclusive, but on the point of ethanol, you were concerned that British farming would be struggling to compete against America. And yet here we have a Secretary of State for Agriculture saying that they understand the pain of inheritance tax raise. They understand the fact it could put you guys out of business. Begs the question, if the Americans get it, why don't British politicians?
Yeah, well, it'd be good to swap her for our Ag Minister, wouldn't it, right now? She seems to actually understand how important farming is and the importance of that food security issue. The ethanol issue, as we were talking about last week, I don't think people really understand fully. I mean, why would you? That it's a major part of our fuel, the E10 in fuel, that's 10% bioethanol. That's something that makes our fuel more sustainable and reduce its carbon footprint, and it's an important market for UK farmers. There's 2 factories that produce it in the northeast. I think jobs are at risk at both those factories, thanks to what they gave away in that trade deal, and an important market for kind of well over 1 million tonnes of wheat a year, kind of large percentage of the UK crop, that puts the bottom in our wheat prices. It is all but gone. Importantly as well, it's that carbon footprint. The bioethanol's reduced to kind of help the sustainability of the fuel, but importing something that reduces carbon footprint, the imported bioethanol has a much higher carbon footprint than UK produced, so it kind of defeats the point as well. So the Americans seem to understand this, but our politicians just don't seem to get it right now. They need to start listening.
OK, gentlemen, we have to leave it there. We've got a packed new schedule. Thank you so much for coming in today, Olly Harrison and Clive Bailey, an unlikely ally perhaps found over the pond. Thank you, gentlemen.
GB done, as you've just seen. Now back on the train to Ipswich, pick the car up and get back to the event there that I'm at. Right, 25 to 5, what time can I get back to Ipswich? Pretty much the only person now going to Ipswich. Anyway, I'm going to be there in 10 minutes. I'm going to be there at 20 past 7, so what's that, an hour and 40 minutes from central London to Ipswich, half an hour in the car to Suffolk. And then, yeah, anyway, here's the birthdays, here they are.
James Plaskett is 26, Edward Coddle is 1, Christopher Gent is 57 on the 16th of May. Doing that today, Chris, there's no way that's getting remembered. Happy birthday for the 16th. If you want it on the day, do it on the day. But I'm doing yours right now, so you've had it. Noah Williamson is 6, Tory James Griffiths is 44, and James Lahore, happy birthday to you. £90,896 raised for the North West Air Ambulance. And if you want to be on there, there's a link under every video.